Hello, guys. Over the years, we've been talking about modeling, we've been talking about Cinema 4D, and we also spoke about animation. Today, I want us to discuss briefly what goes into animation. But before we start, I want to introduce or I want to explain what animation is to you. Animation is a process of creating an illusion of movement by showcasing a series of images in a systematic way from within a time frame. Let's say within a time frame. So, what I'm trying to say is, before you see any animation, it moves in a systematic way. That's the first thing, and it also moves in a given time or at a particular time frame to a particular time frame. So, I also made mention of a series of images. So, let's say you see a movement from point A to point B. The distance from point A to point B is the time frame or is a given time frame. And also within time point A to point B, we have a series of images that is put together to give you that animation, but it runs through very quickly. That's why you see a movement like this. So in this case, let's say this is an object. So if you move this object from here to here, let's say this is point A to point B. The movement from point A to point B is the given time. So before it moves from point A to point B, it has to go in a series of images. So I hope you can see what I'm doing. So it goes like this, before it gets to its final position. So when you see something like this or something like this, it means it has been uh, worked on. When I say worked on, it has been animated in that systematic way. But we do it in a series of images. That's what we put together to give you the animation that you normally see on your screens. So as you can see on your screen, we have a time frame. So you can see it starts from 0 to 90. So in this case, we have 90. What you are seeing is time frame. It's just like a ruler. So the individual lines you are seeing in between them is frames. It's called frame. So from frame 1 to frame 5, that within that space, you can do an animation within that space. So depending on what you are doing, you can go in for 1,000 time frame, 2,000 time frame. But the more the time frame, the more the rendering time. So you have to bear in mind that whatever that you are doing, you need a particular time frame. Without a time frame, you can't do any animation. And one thing too is also uh, when you move an animation, or when you move an object from a particular position to another location, you need to keyframe, sorry, you need to keyframe from one point to the other. If you do that, you're recording the movement. So you keyframe from time frame 1 to time frame 10. Then you do your rotation. You keyframe from time frame 10 to time frame 20. That's going forward. When you do that and you keyframe, you record, then you get your animation done. So animation basically, like I said earlier, is a process of creating an illusion of movement by showcasing a series of images within a particular time frame. Animation is very, very necessary when it comes to the on screen, or when it comes to media, because anything you see on your screens, it's movements, whether it's flat, whether it's 3D, or whether it's a text. All those beautiful things you see on your screens, without an animator or without a 3D person, you will not see. And without those things, the screens will be boring. So these are some of the things we do behind the scenes to make your screens as beautiful as always. Before any animation is done, we have something we call timeline. So on the timeline, that is where all your necessary animations and necessary keyframes are recorded. So the movement from here to here is done on the timeline. So you do your recordings and everything on the timeline. So anything you do, you have to give it a specific time. On the time frame, you can see that we have some icons on the time frame. So what some of the icons means is we have the play, we have the pause, we have the previous, we have the next. So after your recordings, after you are done with your animation, you can use some of these icons to play your video or to play your animation. So as you can see on your screens, these are the transformational tools, and you can also animate all of these transformational tools by moving them, by scaling them, and by rotating them as well. So animation is not that difficult. You just need to know what you are doing. You just need to know the direction of the movement. Then you also have to know the keyframe, the timeline, and what have you. Then you are done. So that is all for today. We'll come your way again with another term in the 3D space. So keep following us, keep sharing, and keep liking the page so we can grow the page. This is Harry J Multimedia. Thank you.